mismo. So,
You change. And in fact, there's this scene, that wonderful scene with the drivers, right? Talking about their amos.
yes.
And I think it says something about the dynamics between the rich and the poor. It's funny if you realize that the word amo is actually means owner in Spanish. So it's amazing that the way they looked at their own amos with amusement.
Yes.
These actors, the drivers, who were they?
Theater actors.
They're theater
first, I got
actors.
theater actors. Yeah.
They were the actors. Tell us about that. About how you got this the
Well,
the group together.
At first, that scene wasn't in the script. We had it supervised by Bing Lao. He wrote Service, the one of Brillante Mendoza.
Okay.
And he said, it's a nice, the story needs parang, so it's about the rich kasi.
Correct.
So you need to have a contrast of the poor looking at the rich.
Yeah.
So I decided, why not someone close? So the ones that see it every day. So the drivers, we decided na parang they're making fun of them.
Correct.
And it really does happen because we interviewed a lot of drivers. And we...
What did they say? What did the drivers say? What did they think of their amos?
Yun, like sometimes, actually mahabang ano yun mahabang scene that I had to cut. May ibang scene nun, grabe to yung mga bata, skyway ng skyway, para lang makipag-meet up sa mga kaibigan, yung ganun. How much is skyway? It's like 160 plus. Toll, gas. So these are the things that the kids aren't aware of.
But for the drivers, it's like a big thing.
Yes.
I mean, for drivers who are making, let's say, 12,000 a month, 164 pesos is a big thing for them.
Yes.
But for the kids, it's like,
Yeah.
it's amazing. And I'm curious about drugs. Prescription drugs, right?
Yes.
This is what the character of Albi Casino is taking. And where do high school kids get drugs? Prescription drugs?
It's easy to get prescription drugs.
How?
I don't know.
I mean, what did you find out in your research on the film? Were you looking at?
I'm looking at my producer.
Your producer, your mom, who happens to be here.
High school, yeah. I have friends who take Valiums during class, and then they go to the clinic and sleep there for hours. But
what again? I just want to know. I mean, prescription drugs. This is bought over the counter. You go to a drugstore for this. I mean, it has to be in a piece of paper.
Apparently, like there's a batchmate that sells Valiums by Banig. So it's like $100 per Banig. That's how many. That's probably 10 pieces, and then that's how easy it is. You just say, "Ping isang Banig." Okay, the next day. I don't know where they get it, but there's students who have those drugs and they bring it to school. So
I also know. I noticed that you somehow pulled back on the portrayal of sex. Is that? I mean, I have a feeling these guys they have sex in the equation, right? I mean, they're doing drugs anyway. They're into violence and then sex, but you kind of pulled back on that. Is that something that you decided maybe it's too much?
Yeah, I decided. Well, during my time. Well, sex wasn't really that big. It's more of make-out sessions, not really sex. So I didn't think that it was, necessary to place that.
But does it happen now? I mean, do the
well,
people of the...
I hear that some parties, they have, those same parties at home. And then after the party, when they're cleaning up, they see condoms around. So probably now it's much wilder. So
let's go into this. Let's go into the whole, reproductive health bill cuento. Okay, hold on. We'll get there. The question is, the concern of the church is that they don't want a culture of contraception. Diba? Yan yung concern nila. What are your thoughts on that? On the youth and sex and contraception?
Again, it all falls down to parenting. I think the parents should be able to talk about this with their kids about sex. It's a sensitive subject.
Your
mean,
parents talking about sex. You think that the parents should play an active role in talking about sex.
Yes.
But we don't.
Nakakahiya eh. Actually,
exactly.
It's uncomfortable, but I think, syempre parang pasimple lang dapat eh. Parang to remind them, because syempre sa school rin medyo sensitive rin yun eh. I had sex ed when I was in grade 5. And I
Did
think,
it stick with you at grade 5? Did you understand what it was all about?
well, I forgot about it. So I think it should be in high school na.
In high school.
Where, the hormones are there.
Raging.
Oo.
Yes. And so you think that a school, an institution should be involved in teaching, at a
Yes.
higher level?
Yeah, I
We
think
cannot
so.
leave it up to those irresponsible parents, right?
Yes.
No.
Especially when you're, ayun nga, it comes down to, experimenting and all those things, trying different things. So it really is responsibility.
And you also seem to pull back. You had talked about it earlier. Towards the end, there's a sort of redemptive side to the story. I felt, I kind of felt maybe it was kind of tacked on. I mean, you felt like maybe you had to soften the blow of the movie. Was there a creative discussion about that? Will we put this scene in, or is it
With the producer, yes.
with the producer? It
Yes.
happens to be your mom.
Yeah, she said.
So what was the?
She said, I will produce this film. Dapat may lesson. Dapat may redeeming, yung characters mo may redeeming factor. So,
How was that for you? How did you take that? Kasi kanina, I mean, you seem to be a very uncompromising person. How did you have to take that?
kailangan eh. Well, at first I wasn't comfortable with it.
Was that the hardest part of your process, the creative process? That
Yes and no. I mean, when it comes to the producer naman eh, syempre you always have to follow the producer. And of course, after a while, kailangan nga. I said to myself, why would I make a film with no lesson? And
so you're actually telling me that parents are right. Speaking about that, let's talk about that. You got your parents to produce your film.
yes.
It's a long story, but I think it starts where you actually did not initially make the cut for the 10 films for Cinemalaya this
Yes,
year,
yes.
right? And then tell us what happened.
I was the wild card. And when I told my parents about it, they didn't want to. They didn't want to push through with the film. And of course, I had to, persuade them. And that's when my parents, we had a talk, and she saying, my mom, yun nga, one of the, kailangan may lesson. Yun number 1. Number 2 is, you have to make a really good film. You have to work hard. You have to prove to us that, you will do your best. And I told them I will do my best.
So in fact, what happened was, this is what's funny, your parents, their background is not in filmmaking, it's
Yes.
real estate. And yet they decided to go because I guess they love you. They say, okay, we'll make this film, we will be the producers. And the thing is, they didn't just give you the money,
Yes.
they were there. They were actually producing the whole thing. I mean, giving out the money,
Yes.
handing
They were
out,
very
talking about expenses, hands-on.
They were very hands-on. They were there in the set, on set from 6 a.m. till 6 a.m. the next day. They would camp in a corner. So that's the producer's side. So we'd go to them. They'd check the shooting. I'd show them the rushes, what was going on. They hear me with the mic. So and they were very hands-on, very supportive. Even my brothers actually it became a family production nga.
So you
everyone was
bonded
involved.
together, you got
Yeah.
together.
We were all learning at the same, because I was fresh from college. I graduated nung Feb, and then we started shooting the next month. So it was that fast, and I've been interning from different directors. So I haven't shot an actual full length, and it's something big. It's Cinemalaya, so you can't just make something that's not Cinemalaya worthy.
So I think for your mom, it was again not only just for you, but she wanted to send out a message,
Yes,
right?
yes.
I mean, what was that message that you really wanted to send out?
Well, different more of the the sensitive topics about joining fraternities, the drugs. I think when she read the script, she already knew. Actually, I always tell her about the story. She always reads the script, and it's a powerful message that people are not comfortable talking about it with, because it deals with the rich, deals with drugs, and it's always blocked by the media. These things that are happening. So I think
so it's important for her for the rest of the world to
Yes.
find out. Very good. You keep looking there because your mom is there.
Yeah.
Maybe we want to join. Just come here, join. Just come up here. Be beside as we close the show. The producer of the animals over here, and join us here.
Hello.
I see the film. I see the characters. They seem to be in a hopeless state, right? Not because they don't have money, but because they do have money. You're gonna be a parent maybe one of these days in the future. What kind of parent will Gino Santos be?
What kind of parent? I would tell my kids, I don't know, but I would probably let them experiment for themselves, and by the end of the day they will come back to the parent, and I will be there for them.
All right. Thank you for coming. Thank you very much, Gino.
Thank you.
Thank you.